Hello, I'm Lily Ledbetter, and I am. Yeah. You know what that means? That means equal pay for equal work for women and their families. Thank you. What a pleasure it is to be here today with all of you, the governor and all of these fine people who've worked and pushed this bill forward. I am so overwhelmed to be here and be a part of this, just a little part of working with the ladies and some of the calls they had and me talking about my comparisons to my story. I think most everybody knows my story, how I worked for Goodyear Tire and Rubber in Gadsden, Alabama for 20 years and found out near retirement that I was being shortchanged by almost 40% compared to my male counterparts. Well, that not only affects my family at that time and my livelihood, but it goes on for the rest of your life. It's your retirement, it's your 401k, and it's your Social Security. So it's so critical and so important to get this right in the beginning. And this bill that's being signed and passed today will mean so much more than a signature on a piece of paper. It means that women and minorities can earn the rightful money that they're really earning and entitled to under the law. What happened to me in my case when it got to the Supreme Court, those justices changed the interpretation of the law, and it made it very difficult and very hard for someone to even find out and to ask about their pay and to get their rightful pay. But this bill today will mean so much to this state and therefore the nation. It will change the communities because it will change the families and the earnings that they're earning. And it quickly addresses the disparities without fear of losing their jobs. That's what holds a lot of women and minorities back, is because we're in fear of losing our jobs. And when you work for a company that will not share information, you never know. It will close loopholes that have been out there for many years. And it will strengthen the remedies for pay discrimination victims to ensure that everybody is treated fairly and equitably. The law will make an incredible difference in the lives of New Jersey women and their families. It will really be awesome to come back in a few years and to see how the state has advanced. But the bill that's being signed today in honor of an individual who has worked so hard for this state will be an own living advancement for the families of this great state. And it is so critical when you work and you don't get what you've earned and entitled to under the law. The Diane Equal Pay Act in a year from now, you may not ever remember Lily Ledbetter Fair Pay Act that was signed in 2009, but you'll be thinking about the Diane Equal Pay because it will be so meaningful for all of the citizens of this great state. And it's important for you to raise your families, educate them, feed them, house them, and take care of them like you should. It means that they can have what they desperately need to be better citizens of this country. And children don't go to bed hungry at night or lacking in education. That's what I've seen across this great nation in touring and talking to people about equal pay. My case was just the tip of the iceberg, and I lost my battle when I got to the Supreme Court, but I feel like I have won the war because we do have a national Equal Pay Act that was signed in 2009, and today, New Jersey will have the Diane Equal Pay. And it encompasses so much for protection for you and your families. So you'll want to be sure that you read that act and know exactly what all it means. But there are so many women on this stage and out in that audience that have fought and worked so hard, and so many men. You see, you guys get it now. You want us women to earn equal pay because you can help us spend it. That's what my... That's what my son-in-law said. He said, more power to your daughter. I like it. She's making more money. I'll help her spend it. But you guys, honestly, deep down, you talk about your mothers, you talk about your daughters, and any other family member, or maybe even your neighbor, how critical it is in this country. And I'm very happy and humbled to have been a small part of this and to be able to work with the senator and other politicians here in your great state. I appreciate the warm hospitality of being here. I feel like you're part of mine now. And thank you, and God bless you, and enjoy this equal pay as we go forward. Thank you.
Well done, Lily. So darn impressive. God bless you. Woo! Wow. I promise you, if you look up in the dictionary, short straw, the definition is you got to follow Lily Ledbetter speaking. Wow. One more time for Lily. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us as we make a little bit of history in New Jersey today. We've all heard the term many times, equal pay for equal work. For too long, it has only been an aspiration, but today we're making it the law in New Jersey. Today is the 99th day since I took my oath of office as governor. In our first almost 100 days, in our first 100 days, I think we've done a lot to move New Jersey to being that stronger and fairer state that we know we can be and that we must be. Closing the wage gap and ensuring that the only consideration, literally the only consideration for deciding an employee's pay is the job she was hired to do is not just a matter of fairness, but have no doubt it will also make our economy stronger. Again, I'm so proud. I know everyone up here joins me in welcoming Lily Ledbetter to New Jersey, and thank you, Lily, for your tireless advocacy for equal pay for women and for your kind and really heartfelt words at the beginning here. Your unwillingness to accept unequal pay ignited our conscience, and we are so happy to have you in New Jersey today to see us enact the toughest equal pay law in the United States of America. Amen. There are so many people who have worked such a long time to see this bill signed. You have to begin to my left, Senate Majority Leader Loretta Weinberg. Who, by the way, with her friend and mine, Nancy Erica Smith, got Lily to be with us today. So there's a lot of reasons to be thankful. Senate President Steve Sweeney's been in this fight a long time. Steve, it's great to be with you on this one today as well. I also have to give a shout out in the Senate to Senator Sandra Cunningham, who's been at this a long time as well. Senator, God bless you. Thanking you for both your leadership and your sponsorship. In the Assembly, up here on stage with us, Assemblywoman Pam Lampett has been in the fight. And she has been joined by colleagues Joanne Downey, Valerie Veneri Huddle, and Shavonda Sumter to carry this forward. And let's not forget the work that Speaker Craig Coughlin has put into this. Craig, and Assemblyman Raj Mukherjee and Paul Moriarty, what they put into this as well to get it over the goal line. As Lily said, let's not forget that there are many men who understand that unequal pay is wrong, and I congratulate you all as well. And to all, this is an extraordinary turnout of legislators and elected officials here today who have been part of this struggle for years and years and years. It's an honor to have you with us today. And I want to add my praise, and I'm incredibly honored that we are joined today, and I'd love her to stand up and take a bow, by former Senator Diane Allen, for whom this bill is named. Senator, you don't know it, but you and I go way back. When I was at the Wharton School in Philadelphia, my brother lived in Cherry Hill. I was watching you decades ago and loved you. We'll talk about that some other time. Senator, you know all too well the feeling that comes from realizing that you've been discriminated against and paid less than your colleagues, not because of your ability or intelligence or capacity to do the job before you, but simply because of gender. Senator, today also cements your legacy as a lawmaker who worked across the aisle to do the right things for our state. God bless you and congratulations. I'm extraordinarily proud that the bill that I will sign in a few moments today will also set the standard for the nation. Let there be no doubt, New Jersey is back and New Jersey is once again leading the way. Two weeks ago, New Jersey recognized Equal Pay Day, which is always a bummer of a day. The day that signifies how long in this year, in this case, into 2018, it took women to finally catch up to what men earned in calendar 2017. But for countless New Jersey women who have worked the same jobs as their male colleagues and received lower pay, whether they knew it or not, today, from this moment forward, not April 10th, will be New Jersey's new Equal Pay Day. So instead of a day spent raising awareness of the toll that pay discrimination takes on women and families, this Equal Pay Day will celebrate the day New Jersey took action to ensure that next April 10th is just another day on the calendar. Let's remember where we are today in New Jersey. A woman on average earns roughly 82 cents for every $1 earned by a male colleague. On average, that's almost $12,000 less per person, per woman, per year. An African-American woman makes barely 60 cents on that dollar compared to a white male colleague. And for a Latina, it is only 43 cents. The wage gap has existed regardless of industry or occupation or regardless of education. And because of this gender wage discrimination, New Jersey women, this is staggering, have been losing more than $32.5 billion in wages and economic power every single year. Those are wages that women need for transportation or housing, for childcare, to save for a college education, or to simply fully participate in our economy. Today, by taking this step to ensure fairness in pay, we're making hundreds of thousands of New Jersey families stronger. We are making it clear that women will help lead our economic rejuvenation. By adding equal pay protections to our state's law against discrimination, or the LAD, we are calling this what it is. It is discrimination. And it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or your race, or whether you're differently abled, or whether you're a member of the LGBTQ community, or whatever. Let's be clear. There are many employers who have always done the right thing and paid equal wages. We hold them up and we thank them for being good corporate citizens. But for those who thought they could get away with paying a woman less just because they could, today is your wake-up call. by allowing victims of pay discrimination to be awarded treble damages, by authorizing up to 6 years of back pay to make victims whole, by prohibiting employers from acting against those who go public with their situation, and by ensuring that no one can sign away their right to equal pay, New Jersey is sending a clear message to the nation that our wage gap will be closed and we're not going to wait around. I mentioned that tomorrow is my 100th day in office. On day one, joined by many of the folks up here, I might add, my first official act prohibited state employers from asking a prospective employee their past salary. One's pay must be based solely on the job they are asked to do, not the one they held prior. That was our first plank to close the wage gap. Today, we are continuing to build the bridge that will carry New Jerseyans across this gap. And we are not going to stop until we are sure that we have built it strong enough for every New Jerseyan to walk across and into the middle class. I thank you again, each and every one of you up here on the stage with me and everyone in the audience today for being here. I can't wait in a few minutes to sign this legislation. We want to hear from a few other very important folks here today. It is my honor to introduce to you my partner, the person with whom I go to work every single day, an advocate and role model for women and girls across our state, the one and only our Lieutenant Governor, Sheila Oliver.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a miraculous 99th day. And when we think that the first day, we had the governor sign what he described, and then 98 days later, we finally get to this point. And as I look at the legislators that are assembled here, I think about during the 14 years I spent in the General Assembly, how that bill was introduced year after year after year. And those years that it took us the effort to finally get to the desk of a governor, well, we know what happened during those 8 occasions. So it is a good day for New Jersey. And you know, Governor, when you referenced and thanked Nancy Erica Smith for bringing Lily here today, all I could think about was your billable hours can now go down. Because we all know in New Jersey, when someone has a labor issue, and especially when a woman has trouble on the job, we always say, go to Montclair and see Nancy Erica Smith. So I'm so glad that Nancy is with us today. And I just want to close with the symbolism of it all. We will remember April 10th as Equal Pay Day in New Jersey for women. But it is also the documented birthday of Harriet Tubman. April 10th. And we learned last week that Harriet Tubman will indeed go on the $20 bill. So in New Jersey, we will be paying homage to the Diane Allen Equal Pay Act, April 10th, and the woman who showed women for generations how it is to be courageous. Thank you.
Wow. I should also add that we have a number of representatives from our cabinet here today, and just want to get this off my chest. We have the first majority female cabinet in the history of the state of New Jersey. I think it is very accurate to say that we would not be here today without the tireless advocacy, hard work, day in and day out, in the grind, far away from the spotlight of a bill signing ceremony, without the leadership of our next speaker. Please welcome Senate Majority Leader Loretta Weinberg.
First of all, Governor, I participated in that first day executive order signing, and thank God I didn't realize we were on the 99th day. We got in right under the 100 day. So I feel sort of like it's bookends, but I want to point out to you that this is not a bookend. There's a lot more to come. So, with that, I would like to take one moment. I invited some special guests here, representatives of the Activism Club at Teaneck High School. And I wish Melanie Cruz, Sheila Cruz, and Amanda Baroa to please stand or wave if you're already standing out in the audience. I wanted to show these young people that activism can pay off. If you're in the right legislature, with the right leaders, and the right governor in office, it happens. So, to my co-prime sponsor, the Senate President, Steve Sweeney, who pointed out that he's wearing a pink tie. So, real men, iron workers, can wear pink ties, and I noted the governor's got a little pink in his tie also. So, to the prime sponsor in the Assembly, Pam Lampett, to the Speaker of the Assembly, who helped us traverse a road to get here. Pam and I had many conversations over many weeks and months as this bill was negotiated. But a personal moment to Senator Diane Allen. I was so proud to be able to recommend that this bill be named in your honor. You and I worked together for 2 years in trying to get this done. And I promised you at the end of that session, when you decided to retire from the legislature, that your imprint on this new law would be recognized. So I want Senator Diane Allen to meet Lily Ledbetter. You now have 2 laws named after you. I expect the 2 of you to get together and go on the road and do good work on behalf of all of us. So, Senator Allen, I was interviewed for a moment by Channel 7 as we came in here, and the young reporter from Channel 7 said she grew up watching you on Philadelphia TV. So, you've made an imprint on many people, so I'm so glad that both you and will your husband stand up, please, to be recognized. I am pleased and proud that you are a participant. To the advocates in the Time to Care Coalition, to the women's groups, the labor leaders, the variety of people who stuck with this every step of the way. With the advocates who are here or part of the coalition, please stand up. None of this would have been possible without your input, without your badgering some of the guys, who are sitting up here. Those of you know who you are. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart. But this is a proud day. It is a proud day for all of us. I see many of the co-sponsors, also our co-prime sponsor, Sandra Cunningham, who couldn't be with us today. But this is a fulfillment of a dream that New Jersey would have the strongest pay equity bill in the nation. And I thank Nancy Erica Smith for being our mentor every step of the way. So thank you, Governor Murphy. Thank you for waiting until I got back from vacation in order to do the bill signing. Thank you, Lily Ledbetter. You said in your opening remarks your case was the tip of the iceberg, but it was the case that opened the oceans for the rest of us. And it was so wonderful, such a thrill for me to be able to share those few hours with you. This woman, well, I can't use one of the phrases my daughter uses to me, something about something stirrer. I'll let the rest of you fill in the blank. But Lily Ledbetter is one of those stirrers, too. And what she did and what she's continued to do is the beacon that got us here. So thank you to the governor. Thank you, Pam. Thank you to the lieutenant governor. I am so glad to see her with us and to have her leading the way. And I look forward to, I've collected an awful lot of veto pens over the last 8 years. And I am looking forward to matching every single one of them with a signing pen. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. God bless you. Congratulations. So well said. As Senator Weinberg said, she couldn't do it alone in the Senate. And it's my honor to introduce a guy who showed extraordinary leadership on this and in so many other things, Senate President Steve Sweeney.
This is we did it, Loretta. We did it. A lot of years, long time, a lot of hard work. We had the right idea. We just needed to have the right governor to move forward on this. So I want to thank Governor Murphy for standing up and doing. A reporter asked me, what do you think about Phil Murphy? I said, well, everything he said he was going to do, he's been doing. It's unusual, but he's doing it. Thank you. And to the LG, it's great having the LG back, and to Pam for all the hard work, and my partner, the speaker, Craig Coughlin, and Diane. Who would ever thought the Democrats would name a meaningful bill after you? Right? But this is one of the most meaningful bills that we have done since I've been in the legislature. And it wouldn't have happened, in my mind, if it wasn't for Loretta Weinberg. She is, by far, I told her, when we go through all the BS you go through with legislation, to get to this point where you actually are doing something meaningful in life that's going to change the direction and the course of a lot of women is a wonderful thing. In my world, I'm a union iron worker. Women make what men make. It was a foreign concept to me how you could give people different pay for the same job. So what we're doing here in New Jersey today is, and again, I am so thrilled because we're setting the bar. We're challenging every other state. Come join us. Come, try to catch us. You might not get close, but try, because it's worth doing this. This is why we come here. When we can actually make a difference in people's lives, this is a big day for all of us. And again, going back to Diane, who was actually one of the people that was discriminated against early on in her professional career that kind of ended and moved her on because she wouldn't stand for it anymore. It couldn't be any more appropriate, Diane, than be named after you. But I am thrilled to be here. And I wore pink, I did, in honor I absolutely did. It's theme day, right? But this is a great day for New Jersey. We are leading this country. This has been a great effort going forward. There's a lot more we're going to do. I know we're going to do with this governor, speaker, and this legislature. So again, to everyone, congratulations. It couldn't have been done without all of you, without your persistence, and a little Jewish grandmother that used to kick my rear end on a regular basis. Thank you all.
I've gotten a few of those kicks as well, Steve. No, yeah. A very important point the Senate President made, which is, let's not forget in so many respects in New Jersey and across America, when in doubt, organized labor leads the way. They show us how it should be done. And so let's underscore that. You need a governor, obviously. You need great leadership in the Senate. You need great leadership in the Assembly. And it is my honor to introduce somebody who worked this thing tirelessly and got this thing over the goal line. I'm honored to be up here today with Assemblywoman Pamela Lampus. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. This is one of those days in your career that you live for. You know, when I joined the legislature 12 and a half years ago, my first piece of legislation has been my most memorable piece of legislation, the transfer of college credits. It's named after me. It's the Lampett Law. I tell everybody my mother-in-law is really thrilled that a law is named after her. She's not getting this one. No, she's not getting this one. But I am really thrilled to be here. Thank you to the governor for your guidance and your support, your leadership over these last 100 days, for making things possible. To Liddy Ledbetter, you know, when I spoke to Liddy Ledbetter on the telephone, I made her a promise. I hope you remember, Lily. I told her that New Jersey will make a difference. New Jersey will set the new standard. New Jersey will be the place where women and families want to come to. With the extending the years to 6-year look back, we've arrived, and I made my promise. I have fulfilled my promise to you, Lily. To Senator Weinberg, you know, she and I together have worked on many pieces of legislation. There's not one that's not hard. There's not one that's not easy. There's not one that we have not talked to each other in the late evening, on the weekends, text messages. It's a continual sort of process of communication and partnership. And I truly believe that I have a partner with Loretta, and we're going to continue to do more great things together. And thank you for your guidance and your leadership on this as well. Can't do it all. We do it with the support of the Senate President. We do it with the support of the Lieutenant Governor. And I certainly do it with the support of our new great speaker, Craig Coughlin. Thank you. I would be remiss because rows are filled right here with my Assembly colleagues who really stood up that day and spoke so proudly about this piece of legislation. Could my colleagues stand up? I can't name each and every one of you, but could my colleagues stand up? Because you really, truly do need to be acknowledged. Thank you. You know, Diane, that day I asked every single woman across both aisles to stand up with me, because you can never do these things alone. It was a proud moment. It was a memorable moment. It was a moment I wanted to share with every female in that chamber. And every woman, you should know, every woman across both aisles stood up and voted for the Diane Allen Equal Pay Act. You know, coming sort of late in the process, I'm duplicating a lot of things, and I apologize, but I really feel very heartfelt about this particular issue. And, you know, maybe one day I'll rise in the ranks and I'll get up to the top and be able to be the first to say something, right? Just watch out. But I, too, want to thank the advocates. I see Dina there with her daughter resting on her shoulder. It really, truly is about the advocates, and it's about, oh, she's embarrassed now. Sorry, hon. here, I'll help you. My daughter's right here too. And I'm really happy that my daughter Eileen is here to witness this, as she was the day that we voted for this on the floor of the chamber. But really, the advocates really make a difference, and your work is truly meaningful to the part of this particular process, and I couldn't have done it without each and every one of you, so thank you. You know, the other day, I'm not so sure whether or not you watched it as well, but on 60 Minutes, there was a piece about equal pay. It was the company called Salesforce. And I have to tell you, when we were doing this piece of legislation, there were many businesses saying, you're gonna bankrupt us. You keep on doing these not-so-friendly business initiatives, and you're gonna throw businesses away. They're gonna go to Pennsylvania, they're gonna go to New York. Come on, Salesforce, bring it on. Because Salesforce, on their own initiative, looked at across the board whether or not they were paying men and women equally. And to his surprise, to the CEO's surprise, they were not. And what did he do? He raised each person's salary to the level of equal. It cost him $3 million to do so, but he did the right thing. He is setting the stage of what businesses should be doing, and we would embrace him to come to New Jersey anytime. He continues to buy businesses, and as he continues to buy businesses, guess what he is doing? The first initiative is he's looking at the pay of each one of his salaried members, each one of his wage members, and he is raising them to be equal of that of their peer in their business as well. So we welcome any business that wants to set the standard just like Salesforce has done. My only regret for today is that people that are special to you, that have been your leader, your mentor, are not here. My mother was that woman, and she was a working woman, and she had to work for her family, just like my grandmother did, and my grandmother on the other side. So when I look at working women, I was brought up knowing the fact that I was going to be a working woman as well. I regret the fact that they could not be here, but they're here in my heart, they're here in my daughter's heart, and having my daughter here is just one of those sort of moments that you embrace and you want to savor. So thank you for allowing me to do so, and God bless New Jersey, and watch out, because we're going to keep on going and change is going to happen. Thank you.
Great job. Great job. So impressive.
Thank you.
God bless you. You know, Pam made a couple of references, and I could not agree with her more. Pam, thank you again. The companies who claim this is anti-business have missed a meeting, okay? The world has changed. We've gone through an inflection point. Increasingly, companies and families we've had this conversation, Steve and Craig and I, want to live in states that not just are good value, but have good values. They respect equal pay. They fund women's health care. They say no to offshore drilling of oil and gas. They sign, as we will, the sensible gun safety laws. They respect the LGBT community, on and on and on. Those don't drive businesses away anymore. They're magnets for business. And believe me, this is a big step in that direction. Just as Senator Weinberg did an extraordinary job but couldn't have got it done without leadership from the Senate President, the same is true of Pam and her colleagues in the Assembly. And I reiterate, it's over 100 days now, slightly over 100 days, but General Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin is off to a heck of a start. It's my honor to ask him to come up and say a few words. Craig?
Thank you, Governor. All right. All right, Pam, if you think it's hard to go sixth, try going seventh, unless you count the 3 times that the governor spoke, in which case I think it's ninth. But it is a privilege to be here. As I went through it, I said, okay, congratulate and thank organized labor, done. Make colleagues stand up, done. I will note this, though, to my partner, Steve Sweeney. You talked a lot about how hard this was. I don't know. That's not our experience. This is our second meeting. We got this done. I don't know. What are you guys waiting for? But today really is a great day for New Jersey and for the United States. And in the case anybody wasn't paying attention outside of our borders, as we did last week when when the governor signed the automatic voter registration, New Jersey is leading the way. And we do it again today. And we send a clear and unequivocal message: equal pay for equal work always, right here. Now, frankly, I think it's preposterous that we have to pass a law that does this. It is, right? We know men and women do the same job, and it is fundamental to our national thinking that everybody gets treated equal. And yet, when it comes to getting paid, that's not the case for women. And we know how important the salaries that everybody earns in working class families, and how they look to stretch every dollar. And so when we don't pay women the same, we hurt them for generations to come. And we hurt ourselves when we do it. But today we change that. Today we change that dialogue. And we send a message to everyone that New Jersey is the right place to be. We know today when we open up opportunities for women across the state, we get to offer this invitation to women in places throughout the country where they work hard and their work doesn't seem to be valued. Come live and work in New Jersey. We recognize it. And so thank you, Governor Murphy, for signing this historic legislation. Thank you, Senator Weinberg, for your leadership over these years. Thank you, Senate President, for your leadership. And thank you especially to my colleague in the Assembly, Pam Lampett, and Valerie, and Joanne, and Pat, and Yvonne, and Brittany, and Verlina, and Gabby, and Cleo. The Assembly turned out. We bring people. And thank you, Lily Ledbetter, for being here. You are a hero to the cause, and we are all better because of your great and brave, courageous acts. Thank you all very much for coming out. This is a great day for New Jersey.
You ready? This is the moment. Let's go. Assemblywoman Pamela Lampeth. The Speaker of the General Assembly